So for today's video, I thought that I would share with you guys what I eat in a day. So recently I've gotten on this kick of studying nutrition, and it's kind of changed my life. I mean, prior to this, I would consider myself a victim of a junk food addiction, you could say. I would eat healthy probably 75% of the time. The other 25% of the time, I was binging on candy and chips and fried food and shit that I just know that I don't need. But since studying nutrition, I feel like it's really changing my relationship with food. It's really made me reevaluate a lot of my choices. So lately, I've been on this, what some people might call insane diet. Not calorie restricting or not to lose weight, but purely to see how good I can make myself feel. And I have been feeling fantastic, the best I've ever felt in my entire life. So I thought it'd be fascinating to share with you guys my crazy health plan. Disclaimer, I am definitely not a saint with my food, okay? When I go out to eat, I still eat sugar and fried food and whatnot. You can like see me in this little mirror, that's kind of weird. So the very first thing that I like to have in the morning is this concoction that I've given the nickname Kale Coffee. There's no coffee in it, but I call it Kale Coffee because it's really potent. I feel like it gives me a buzz, and I drink it out of a coffee mug. I mean, it pretty much tastes like grass. It's not good. It's not good, but it makes me feel good, and that's what's important. The kale that I'm using is this big, thick, dark green Tuscan kale. I just get this from Trader Joe's. It's already chopped up and washed, really easy. Put that into a blender with just a little bit of water. You can see that, just like a little bit of water. And then I'm gonna blend this up first so I make sure that it gets perfectly smooth, because I don't wanna be chewing on kale. No, thank you. Now, if I were a true badass, I would just have it like that. But I'm not. So I'm also gonna throw in half of a frozen banana. I'm gonna break this in half. And just a little bit of this frozen mango strawberry. Like, I'm talking 3 pieces, like a little tiny bit, because I don't wanna do too much fruit. So I should add, I have no problem with consuming fruit. But I said what I said about putting only a little bit of fruit in the kale coffee because I personally do not like consuming blended fruit. I think that it hits the blood too fast, you know, consuming that much fruit in liquid form without that fiber casing it, I feel has to spike your blood sugar. And I just noticed that for me personally, whenever I used to have like a really big fruit smoothie every morning, and I really truly feel that it contributed to some acne that I was having. So once I started cutting that out, I mean, I still have very acne prone skin, so I break out all the time, but that was definitely making it worse for me, so. And then right after I get done with my coffee, I come back in the kitchen so I can take my shot. So to make this, I use fresh turmeric and ginger. This is about probably like 1-inch size pieces. Into the blender, I put the roots, I put the juice of an entire lemon, and a little bit of water. And then we're gonna just blend that up. So then I've poured it into this little shot glass, but right before I take it, I add a little bit of maca powder. This is something I very recently started implementing into my diet. It's supposed to regulate your hormones and help acne, so I've been trying this out. All right, here we go. Bottoms up. That's some strong shit. I know you're probably already thinking, why are you subjecting yourself to this level of like intensity? And I got really into researching and one of the doctors that I just love everything that he puts out. He cannot stress enough the importance of having turmeric every day. So that's where the idea for the turmeric shot was born. But one really random thing that's really important with turmeric is consuming pepper with it. I don't know, apparently the blood can't have the full effects of turmeric unless you consume it with pepper. So I always just put a little bit on the back of my hand and then lick it. I don't know. Jesus Christ, what is my life? And so by far my favorite meal of the day is breakfast. And it is this glorious berry coconut almond oatmeal that I just cannot. I never stop craving this. I crave this every single day. Love it. So we have some steel cut oats here that I pre-made because why not? I mean, it takes like 45 minutes to make, so I just pre-make enough for the entire week. That way I don't have to think about it. And then these are some frozen berries that I have thawed out. Oh girl, don't drip. And I should add that this isn't just plain steel cut oats. How I make this is I boil some water, add in my oats, cook them for about 45 minutes until it gets really nice and creamy. Then I add in cinnamon, vanilla powder, tons of flaxseed, and chia seed. And then I just take it over to the microwave, pop it in, and cook it for usually just a minute. And then once everything is nice and hot, we add our toppings. I live for adding coconut chips and slices of almond. It just adds a nice crunch and flavor. I love putting coconut on everything. And almonds, perfection. I'm gonna take this outside to eat, I think. Maybe, you know, grab a little Instagram photo. That oatmeal really, truly keeps me feeling full for like 3 or 4 hours. So jumping forward a little bit, it is time for lunch. I am having veggie soup. So again, this is something that I have pre-prepped just to make my life a little bit easier, and because soup really doesn't taste any different warmed up than it does fresh. I honestly think it tastes better with age. So this is a fairly basic soup. I just started in a really large stock pot, and I put in a large onion, and I browned it by adding a little bit of water here and there, here and there. Then I filled it with water and kind of created an onion broth, because I don't use any veggie broth or salt directly in the recipe. So onion broth, and then you literally just put in anything you want, whatever you got. I started out with a mixture of barley and lentils just to get some nice protein going on in there. And then I pretty much put every vegetable that I had. Some red potatoes, carrots, celery, cauliflower, cabbage, and that's pretty much it. Just let it cook for an hour or so and got yourself some soup. Now, as far as seasoning goes, I don't put any seasoning or salt of any kind directly in the soup, because I find that when I do that, I end up putting tablespoons and tablespoons of salt, and by the time I eat it, it's just kind of lost its intensity. So I really find that it's better to season your food right as you're going to eat it instead of doing it ahead of time. So I'm going to put a little bit of lemon juice, some of this garlic and herb seasoning. There's no salt in this one. And then this, I am proper addicted to. I have a serious problem when it comes to this stuff. I'm gonna put just a little bit, okay? And if I had to try to explain to you guys what this tastes like, it tastes almost exactly like the chicken packet that comes in ramen noodles, except it's vegan. It's fantastic. Oh my God, it's so good. Now for my second lunch, yes, you heard me right, second lunch. You gotta eat a lot when you're just eating this way, because like that soup, that bowl of soup was maybe 150 calories. So that was kind of like my appetizer to lunch. This is gonna be my real lunch. I'm making a massive veggie salad. There we have it, an absolutely massive spinach salad, just so you can understand the size. My hand versus the bowl. It's a very big bowl. And I think for some crunch, I'm also gonna add some raw pumpkin seeds on top. If you guys were wondering what kind of kick-started this change for me personally, it was actually reading this book. It's called How Not to Die. I read this about a month ago, and it's by a doctor. He is the founder of nutritionfacts.org, and he has just dedicated his entire life to studying nutrition and the effects of certain foods on the human body. And it is easily the most enlightening book I've ever read in my entire life. And I highly, highly, highly recommend it. It's hefty. It's like 700 pages. It's pretty big, but very valuable information, not just for yourself, but for your family and friends. I know our generation especially, people are struggling with health. Our parents' generation, a lot of people have diabetes and heart problems, and a book like this can truly help so many people. So read it, share the love. Can't recommend that enough. It is now much later in the day, and I'm having a bit of a snack before dinner, and it's a little bit of a strange variety. So we have some apples and almond butter, and I highly suggest when you get almond butter, make sure that almonds are the only ingredients, because sometimes they add in oil and sugar, and really it's so unnecessary. Then I have some little pieces of raw seaweed. Seaweed's really good, a great way to get your iodine. A lot of people are actually iodine deficient. I recently learned this. Apparently, it's really important. And this is like pickled cabbage, which also has probiotics in it, which is really great. So I'm just really curious, how many of you guys absolutely hate seaweed? I feel like seaweed is one of those things that you either love or you hate, and I know so many people who hate it and so many people who love it, and I was somebody who hated it, but I'm kind of getting into it. I don't know, I just don't like fishy stuff in general. It is now dinner time. I've gotten a little bit more comfy, and I'm gonna have just a nice, simple dinner. Keeping it basic, because I'm basic. Just some brown rice, some kidney beans, and I have some steamed veggies, some sliced sweet potatoes, and Brussels sprouts. And then I'm gonna top it off with some avocado, some lemon, and some seasoning. Excuse me, what are you doing up here? Get down, get down. Oh, okay.
Not lay down.
As a little dessert, I'm making some mint tea. This is the brand that I used. I like it because it's the whole leaf, and it comes in this kind of like little pyramid. Anyway, and then I also have this bin of dried fruit, or like freeze-dried fruit, and some nuts that I'm gonna be having with it. Well, it's 11 o'clock, and I'm pretty sure that I'm done eating for the day. So that concludes the video. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I hope you feel a little bit more inspired to maybe get on a healthier path of eating. I know for me personally, at the end of the day, if I didn't eat any bad stuff, I feel really proud of myself. I don't know, it just feels good. As somebody who has a past of like binge eating sugar and stuff, if I can make it a whole 14-hour day without eating candy or something, then I feel a strange little sense of accomplishment. But let me know if you guys enjoyed this video. Give it a little like so I know to do more of these in the future or not. And until next time. Bye.